Now, we've all been there. We get in it to go, and instead of the satisfying sound of the engine starting, we get nothing. Instead, all we get is a click or two from the starter solenoid, or we might not get anything at all. Either way, having a no start condition is a real pain. Hi, I'm Bruce Bonebrake. Welcome to this edition of the AutoZone Do-It-Yourself video series. Your vehicle is an important investment, and doing your own maintenance and repairs is a great way to protect that investment. It's our goal to take the mystery out of the common automotive repairs that you're likely to run into from time to time, as we guide you step by step through the procedures necessary to do the jobs yourself. This will also make it possible for you to save money in the process.
We're going to go over a couple of procedures today: charging and testing a battery, replacing a defective battery, and testing the vehicle's charging system. But first, let's talk about how a battery works. Okay, our Explorer has a no start condition, meaning the engine won't turn over when I turn the key. This is something that's happened to all of us before, and today we're going to show you what you can do when it happens to your car. The procedures are the same for just about any vehicle. Now, don't automatically assume your battery is bad if your car won't start and none of the lights work. There could be several symptoms of a dead battery that are not actually the battery's fault. And you know what? Most of the work of figuring out what's wrong could be handled by your friends down at AutoZone. They have the specialized equipment to check each system on your vehicle and point you in the right direction. First, let's learn a little bit about batteries before checking the one on our vehicle. A 12-volt battery is made up of 6 cells, each producing about 2.1 volts. And each cell contains plates that are both positive and negative. Typically, the positive plates contain lead dioxide, while the negative plates are made from straight lead. The cells are inserted into a tough, non-conductive plastic case connected in series from positive to negative. The case is covered and then filled with electrolyte, which is made up of sulfuric acid and water. The electrolyte completes the circuit between the plates and makes the battery live. Years ago, you could buy a dry battery and fill it with electrolyte after purchase, but nowadays all batteries come pre-filled and ready to go. The key characteristics you need to be aware of when buying a replacement battery are the battery group size, its cold cranking amps, or CCA, and its reserve capacity for your vehicle, also known as RC. The battery group size indicates the battery size will best fit the physical dimensions of your vehicle. Many vehicles can accommodate more than one group size. The group size is typically associated with the part number. For instance, the part number of this battery is 75D. The number 75 is the group size. The CCA rating is critical for good cranking ability. The reason CCA is so important is because as the outside temperature falls, the engine takes more power to start due to the metal contraction and the oil getting thicker, while at the same time, cold temperature decreases a battery's efficiency. The RC helps power the electrical system if the alternator fails. The rating indicates the battery's staying power, or in other words, how many minutes the battery can supply ample power without falling below the minimum voltage needed to run your vehicle. When choosing a new battery in general, the higher the number, the better for both the CCA and the RC. If you live in a cold climate, the CCA rating would be more important. A good battery will last up to 5 years, and that's about the time since the one in our vehicle has been replaced. Now let's discuss the tools you need for the job, and then we'll show you what to do when you have a dead battery. Only a few tools are needed to service and maintain your battery. The most important of these is a good pair of safety glasses. Be sure to put them on any time you work on your car, and especially before you check the electrical system or battery. You'll also need a basic socket and wrench set and a pair of gloves to protect your hands from battery acid. Nitrile gloves are an excellent choice because they offer good protection against chemicals. And don't forget our handy little memory saver. An optional tool to consider having is a multimeter. Digital meters are the most accurate, easy to read, and that's what we'll be using today. They're also very affordable. You can pick one up at AutoZone. Like I said, this is an optional tool. You don't have to have one because the folks down at AutoZone can handle all the testing for you. Still, it's a great tool to have because it'll help you isolate the general cause of the battery problems yourself, and that can save you a few steps along the way. Now let's move over to our vehicle and learn how to diagnose and repair a dead battery.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Use caution when working with automotive batteries. Always wear gloves and safety glasses and work in a well-ventilated area.
This vehicle has a no start condition. First, we'll start with a visual inspection, and then we'll go to a diagnostic procedure.
If you see cracks in the case or obvious terminal damage, the battery needs to be replaced. Look for a loose or broken belt. The alternator keeps the battery charged when a vehicle is running, so if the belt driving the alternator is broken or slipping, the alternator can't do its job and the battery will run down quickly. Check for corroded or swollen battery cables. This step is often overlooked and can lead into a misdiagnosed battery problem. Under normal operating conditions, batteries release gases that react with metal components around it, most notably the terminals and the battery cable ends on top of the battery. So you need to be diligent in your inspection here. Even non-visible corrosion between the cable and battery terminal can cause a poor connection and stop the vehicle from starting. Next, look at the battery terminals. Chemical reactions can cause deposits to form on the terminals, and this can impede the flow of electricity through the contacts. If that happens, not only can it affect the operation of the lights, radio, and so forth, but can also prevent the battery from getting a sufficient charge from the alternator. Deposits will appear powdery and most likely be white or light green in color. To be sure the connections aren't causing problems, remove the cables and clean the top of the battery, posts, and terminals with a battery terminal brush.
Now this battery looks like it's in good condition physically. The battery terminals are nice and clean. The next step is to check with a digital multimeter. The ignition key should be off and all the lights and accessories should be turned off. Make sure the battery is clean and dry. Moisture on top of the battery can cause false readings. Set the digital meter to DC volts. Connect the positive lead to the battery's positive terminal and the negative lead to the negative terminal. If the reading shows 12.6 volts or higher, the battery is fully charged. If the battery shows anything less than that, it must be recharged before doing any other tests. Your friends at AutoZone can charge your battery for you, or you can do it yourself if you have a battery charger. If your battery is discharged, there is one of three reasons why. The charging system isn't recharging the battery as it should. There is a drain on a battery, possibly due to an accessory or a light staying on when it shouldn't be, or your battery just won't hold a charge anymore. The great thing is, once you get your battery charged, you can just drive the vehicle down to AutoZone and they can help you find out the exact cause. Okay, the meter shows this battery to be low on charge. Let's go ahead and pull it out and take it down to AutoZone so they can charge and test it. First, insert the memory saver device. Then disconnect the battery cables. Remember to always remove the negative cable first. Remove the battery hold-down clamp. This is usually a bar across the top or a wedge-type clamp on one of the bottom edges of the battery. In most cases, the clamp is secured with one bolt. If the battery has a handle, use it to pull the battery away from the car. Otherwise, use a battery strap to remove the old battery. Be careful not to let the battery touch exposed skin, clothing, or the vehicle when removing it. Well, that's all there is to removing the battery. Next, we'll take it down to AutoZone, have it charged and tested. Hi, how are you?
Fine, you?
Just fine. I need to get this battery charged and tested.
Okay, we can go and see what it does.
Great, thanks. It only takes about an hour to charge the battery. Well, the battery's fully charged. Next, we need to test it. The best test to perform to check the battery's ability to start and run the car is a load test. And that's the test the folks at AutoZone will do for you. First, we want to enter the cranking amps of the battery. This information is located on our battery. It's 550 amps in our case. The test is in progress. As you see, the voltage has already dropped down to 7 volts, 763, 762, 61. It's continuing to drop. Okay, now the load's been released. You see the battery coming back up. Now this is a 12-volt battery, so we either have a low state of charge or we do have a bad battery. Shortly, the load will be applied the second time on the battery. There we are. The load's applied again, and immediately the battery voltage is dropping down 7, 5, 8, 6, 7. Yeah, there we go. That is extremely low for a 12-volt battery. We have 4 seconds, 3 seconds. This test is about complete. And there you have it. We have a bad battery. Well, the battery failed the load test and it's bad and we need to replace it. We'll go ahead and pick up a new battery while we're here and go back and put it in the vehicle. But what if the battery would have tested good? Then what? There might have been something draining the battery down, or there might have a charging system or even a starting system problem. We get the battery back in, we'll bring the vehicle back up, and we'll show you how to check those too. Okay, here's our new battery. The installation is just a reversal of the removal procedure.
First, set the new battery into the tray. Reinstall and tighten the hold-down clamp. Place a washer under the positive post and then attach the cable. Tighten the nut on the cable using a boxed end wrench. Apply a small amount of terminal protectant and spread it around the terminal end. Repeat the process for the negative battery cable.
The new battery is installed. Next, we need to drive down to AutoZone and have the charging system checked.
It only takes a couple of minutes to test the charging system. After the analyzer is connected to the system, the engine is started and run at 2,000 RPM while a load is applied to the charging circuit. The load is then released and the engine slowed to idle. In a few moments, the test is complete. The results of the test tell us that the regulator volts were 14. The system operated at 28.7 peak amps. And the diode pattern is good. This tells us that the charging system is in really good condition, so that takes care of our battery replacement. Having a fully charged battery in good condition helps to ensure that your vehicle is always ready to go when you need it. By following the steps outlined in this video, you can be back on the road in no time if your battery fails. Thanks for watching. I'm Bruce Bonebrake.